Hey guys, it's Liam. If you're seeing this video and you're a subscriber of my channel or whatever, you're probably wondering what it is. This isn't my usual stuff. This is a project that I did for my buddy Gary. Some of you might know him as Yosty. But this is for him and his friends. He had two 8-tracks of a 1975 East and West football game. And he wanted to sort of digitize those and immortalize those. And I am not by any means a pro at this stuff. I kind of didn't know what I was doing, but I wanted to help and make sure that Gary and his friends could listen to this forever. So I gave it my best shot, digitize this game. It's about 2 hours, a little less than 2 hours. You'll notice in the middle, there's a slight change at about the hour 20 mark. That's when I changed the new tape, and that second tape was just a little bit more finicky to record. 8 tracks are a lot, so I tried my best. But anyway, stick with it, because at that hour 25 mark, the crowd goes crazy. Hearing that over that tape, it gives me energy every time, and I know it'll be special to you too. So just stick with it, listen to the game. This was really cool to do, and I hope that it means a lot to some people, and I hope you guys enjoy it. It's exciting. Let's go back to 1975 and listen to the game. Appreciate you, Gary. Thanks for doing this, man. Thanks for asking me to help, and you're the bomb. I know your friends appreciate it too. Love you, buddy. You guys enjoy it.
Mike Kelly, tailback linebacker.
Mike, looking back, the Bees, if there's got to be a favorite and an underdog today, the Bees have got to be the favorite coming in there. Looking at your record, you're 6-3, and you lost to Bridgeport. You beat a mighty fine Morgantown Mohegan team, and anytime you can beat Morgantown on their home field, you've got to have some kind of ball club going into it. How do you look at your Bees record and some of the games you've had this year thus far?
Well, I thought we should have won a lot more than we did this year. And talked about East-West game. I think we're really fired up this week to be ready for this game more than any.
Mike, looking at you've probably seen the West games, maybe a couple when you were on an off night or something. Looking at the Polar Bears, what do you think the advantage of your East Bees is going to be over the West Polar Bears?
Well, I don't think Westside's going to be able to run against us. I don't think they have that good of a running attack. If anything Westside can do is pass. We've got a pretty good defensive secondary.
How's your defense? If you had to say your defense has been the key, and that's got to be the factor for the Bees, your defense got to be a little bit better than the Polar Bears. Looking at scores and the low scoring you had, especially the last ball game, 9-6 over the Hilltoppers, a team which is vastly improved and really has given everybody, all their opponents, some kind of contest. So how do you see your defensive unit going up against the passing of Rick Angeline?
Well, we've been working against this all week. Guess we'll be ready for it. The pass attack Angeline. We know he can throw the ball good.
Mike, any plans after high school?
I think I'm going to go to college. I'm not sure yet.
Okay, Mike, good luck today against your crosstown rivals, the Polar Bears of Fairmont West, and best of luck whatever you may be doing after high school.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, let's move on down now and talk with some more, and we're going to talk with a young man now that has got to be going up against, and we're going to see some passing, I know, this afternoon. Kenny Bissett. Ken, one thing I want to ask you, usually Coach Joe Ross, in all the years I've known him, has always liked to keep the ball on the ground and didn't like to put it up in the air because he says when you put it up there, it's up for grabs. But lately here, you guys have gone more to the air.
Well, I feel we can throw on Westside because I don't think they have that good a defensive secondary. And we've had some off games this year in throwing, but I think we're coming around. We've been working on it too, and I think we can pass against them as well as run too.
Kenny, now in the passing, you're the guy that's got to be looking down there. Who are some of your favorite targets that we'll be seeing this afternoon?
Well, Gary Yost, he never played offense. Then he came in, he had a good game. And then, so he's been a prime target lately, and Mark Lockwood and Steve Ace, and then running back Mike Decay's been good in the flats, too.
You think this is going to be another typical East-West close ball game, and you think maybe that everybody says this will be a defensive battle more than the offense?
Well, it probably will be a good defensive game. It's like they say, you can't go by the records, but I think it will be a good coach game. I hope we will win by a couple touchdowns, possibly.
How about the morale of your Fairmont East Bees? I know you guys are seniors, and you are looked at as the leaders of the team. Their spirit's pretty high.
Yeah, this is the most psyched up we've been this year, except Morgantown we was up pretty much for that game. But besides that, this is the best game we've been up mentally for.
Kenny, another thing, too, everybody talked about your passing and Rick Angeline's passing. Both of you have been doing quite well in that department. Rick has been out a little bit with injuries, but the defense, like I mentioned to Mike, has to be, if you got to look at an edge for either side, the defense of Fairmont East has got to be the edge. Would you agree there?
Yeah, because I think we can hold them both running and passing. Like we haven't done too good against pass this year, but we've been working on it. I think we can hold them now this week.
Okay, Ken, any plans after high school?
Well, I'll play in 10 college too. That's about all I know.
Okay, best of luck this afternoon against Fairmont West, and again, best of luck after high school.
Okay, thanks very much.
Okay, let's move on now.
I'm Gary Yost, defensive end.
Gary, you got to be one of the crew, and everybody nowadays has long hair, and I'm going to ask you because I think I saw you at the beginning of the season. Some of the East Bees started something at the beginning of the season. Maybe you can tell everybody about.
Well, we just didn't know what we was going to do at the beginning of the season. We didn't know how our ball club was going to be, and just a couple of guys went out and decided to get their hair cut, and it just kind of spread.
Now, you're going to be without one guy, and I think everybody on the East team is probably going to be in there to get a win not only for themselves, but also for Mr. Servo, who will be missing this ball game. And with him in there, I think you guys wouldn't have had 3 losses that you had, but he was a big key out of there and won't be, of course, playing because of that operation and everything. So this is one factor that would be out of there, and this should be one thing that would inspire the Fairmont East Bees.
Yes, I think so, because Mark really was a big part of this team, and he was really a rough ball player. And it kind of hurts the team, especially on defense, to lose a ball player like that. And I think we'll really be trying to make up for him and do our best we can.
Now, Coach Joe Ross, who very seldom praises any of his players any more than, he doesn't like to single out players. He likes that good contact. But he singled you out as being one of the players that looked outstanding in that WI ball game. What do you like better, the offense or the defense?
I like playing the defense because I like to being able to stop them and then, showing that you really did something. Especially like on passes. I think Rick Angeline's a good passer, but I feel our line is quick enough to put a rush on him. We'll have to throw when he don't want to, and then that'll help our secondary.
I don't think there's a defensive man alive that doesn't like to come in and get a quarterback once in a while.
That's true. I get a big kick out of it myself. I really get up after I get a quarterback, and I really love to go in and get him again, and I think it helps the morale of the defense, too.
Okay, fellas, the best of luck today, and we want to thank you for talking with us, and hope the better team, of course, always comes out on top of this one. And with your record going into it, it's been a long time for the Fairmont East Bees, and I think it's about time for the Bees to get on the winning track once again. So best of luck this afternoon. Show Captain Show on today's East-West game at East-West Stadium. Talking now with 4 members of the Polar Bear football team. They have been listening to the comments of Fairmont East, and now we're going to talk with them. And with us from the Polar Bears, Rick Angeline, Ron the Bull Pizzatella, Dave Whiteman, and Derek Papa Horton. Well, Rick, you're going to be the spokesman for these guys this afternoon, and we invite you to jump in anytime, fellas, if you have any comments you'd like to say on the interview. Rick, you've heard the comments of East, and if there's any target, I think you're the key, and you're the guy they're going to come after since they consider you as a threat with your passing game. Your comments on what you think your offense can do against that East defense.
Well, I feel that everyone looks towards stopping our passing game, but really it's not the strong point of our offensive team. Really, I think that if they key on our passing game, they're going to be surprised with our running game. We've changed a little bit in the backfield, changed a few backs around, put in a few new plays that seemed to work real well against Bridgeport the other night in the second half. And I feel if they just key on our passing game, that the running game they're going to be surprised with.
Rick, let me ask you this, too. Now, the Bees, have be looking at records, they got to be the favorite team, and your Polar Bears are going to be the underdog. None of you guys have played an East-West game and have lost, so this has got to be another factor. You're the seniors, and the rest of the team looks forward to you guys. Do you think that records coming to ball games, since your Polar Bears have only won 3, and those were on the road, do you think this is any factor, or do you think they forget all about records?
Well, I think you can forget about our record this year. In all the games, we've lost 4 or 5 of them by just 1 touchdown. Our defense hasn't given up really that many points. It's been our offense that hasn't scored that many. And with a few breaks our way in a few of the ball games, I think our record could be just as good as these sides, if not better.
Okay, Ron Bull, in the Bridgeport game, Coach Del Lorenzo said he made a few adjustments, and it seemed to stop Bridgeport's running attack better than they ever have, and Bridgeport's always been a threat. Your comments on how you think your defense is going to do against the passing of Bissett, and also Sacchetti, the Bees were impressive in their win over WI.
Yeah, we did change our defense we wanted to try out the defense that we were going to use against each side, against Bridgeport, and so we won't change to a 4-4. and it did real well against Bridgeport, and that's what we plan on playing each side today. And I think that'll stop them pretty good, and I think that we're going to come out on top of this game.
Okay, Papa Horton, I want to ask you one thing. Now you go against the Fairmont East Bees, and like I said, you guys haven't played in a losing East-West battle here at East-West Stadium. You think that any way you guys have been playing in these away games, you've been playing better in your blue uniform. Do you think that has a factor? And does it bother you guys at all, the fact that you're going to be an underdog coming into the game?
No, it doesn't. I know we can win the game if we go out there and play ball today, and I know these uniforms don't have anything to do with it. We lost a lot of close ball games, but I know if we play ball, ain't no way Eastside can beat us.
So you think the Polar Bears are really confident being the underdogs and only 3 wins?
Well, yeah, because we may be the underdogs, but I think they're underdogs too. Because once we get started, they can't stop us.
Okay, Dave Whiteman, let me ask you this, and I know it's kind of hard for you guys to put in these interviews with all the extracurricular activities that go on, and you're pretty good under pressure. Dave, how's the morale of the team? You're coming into this one, and it's been a rough one, and you've had some pretty close ball games, but how do you feel about this one today?
I think our morale's up pretty good this week, considering that we're 3-6 going into this game. But if we play a good ball game, and everybody plays tough, I think we can beat Eastside.
Now, another thing, you guys are all seniors, and the rest of these guys are looking forward to this one. Some of them will be playing their first ball game. You got a lot of sophomores. You got some sophomores in there. You got some juniors in there. These guys will be looking for you guys. How about the practice sessions this week, Papa? They've been pretty fired up and ready for this one?
Yeah, I think we are ready for this one. Everybody's been fired up. And I think they're mostly trying to stop our passing game, but I think we have some of the best pass receivers in the state, and I think that we just can go out here and we can do it the East Side.
Okay, Rick, I want to call you back in here. You're the quarterback, and like I said, they're going to be coming after you. Does this kind of fire you up when you know that they're going to come after you? I know that they had the same ideas in mind when Frank Bay played here, and they had a wild afternoon chasing him all over the field. You think, like I said, does this fire you up with the thought in mind that you're their main target?
Oh, I think it does. I think it gives you a little more desire to want to go out and do your best to make them look bad if you know they're coming after you. And I think that if they just try to stop me, they're going to be really hurting the rest of the day, because not one guy on our team is going to win or lose the game. I was out against Morgantown, and I only played a short while against Elkins, and we did pretty well. So I don't think that just off of one guy is going to beat our team. We have too much talent and too many ball players to want to play.
Okay, fellas, the best of luck this afternoon. I got to add one more thing in here. I think I've been associated with you guys more than anybody in the past 3 years that I've been doing Polar Bear football, and no matter how the outcome comes today, you're a well of a bunch of good guys and athletes, and if any of you have any final comments, speak your piece now.
Jack, I'd just like to thank WMMN for following our games and staying with us, even while we were losing.
Okay, best of luck this afternoon, East-West game, and thank you. And now, all the colors and excitement of high school football from Northern West Virginia Sports Voice, WMMN. And good afternoon, everybody. Once again, it's East meeting West at East-West Stadium, the fifth meeting in its annual affair since 1921. The Fairmont East Bees, the home team here this afternoon on a windy, sunny field afternoon at East-West Stadium. The blue and gold and the blue and white again clash for the city championship of Fairmont. Today's game is brought to you in combined sponsorship by the City National Bank, your full-service bank, at 120 Fairmont Avenue in Fairmont. Hills Department Stores in the Fair Hills Plaza, Bellevue Boulevard, open 10 to 10 daily, and other Hills stores in Clarksburg and Morgantown. Good afternoon, Jack Bernard along with Paul Starr on a beautiful Saturday afternoon for this 55th meeting between the Polar Bears, the Fairmont Senior High, the visiting team, and the homestanding Family Bees, the blue and gold of Coach Joe Ross. Well, the scene is set. The fans are here as usual, as they always are when these two teams meet for the city championship. Today, 11 seniors for the Polar Bears of Coach Bob DeLorenzo will be playing their final football game for the blue and white. And for Coach Joe Ross, who hasn't won this ball game since he started for Fairmont East as the head man since 1971, has 13 seniors who will be in uniform, and a lot of fine seniors, well, we should say a couple of fine seniors who will not be in uniform. But we have about 8 Fairmont East players on the sideline, about 3 on crutches. Mark Servo, an outstanding player, is only a junior, just was released from the Morgantown Hospital this morning to come here and see this game after a shoulder operation. And Mark will be sitting on the east bench directly below us. But it's a typical afternoon, a beautiful afternoon. Sun-filled skies, temperatures will get up in the 70s this afternoon, light jacket weather, and you couldn't ask for a better field, dry field conditions for this meeting between East and West. The East Bees, the home team, as we said, will be the favorite team today, indicated by the record of 6 wins and 3 losses. The Polar Bears will be the underdog, just the opposite, 3 wins and 6 losses. They have not won this year here at East West Stadium. They were supposed to be a team which was going to be right up there at the top, but it was just completely reversed in some very close ball games for Coach D's Polar Bears of Fairmont Senior High. On the other hand, Fairmont East has come up with a fine record of 6 and 3, upending some mighty fine ball clubs. But in this series, dating back in this decade, back to 65, West stands with a 5-4-1 record, East 4-5-1. So it is that even. But as they always say, today you can toss away the record books because you never know what's going to happen when East meets West. The Fairmont East Bees are warming up to our right. The Fairmont East Fine Band under Mr. Earl McConnell set to come on and entertain pregame here. The Polar Bears of Fairmont West in their traveling blue uniforms to our left. And this is, as I said, a typical afternoon, and also a plane circling above. It's been circling for about 10 minutes. Trailing behind it, the sign East beats West. And that's just what it is this afternoon. Both sides cheering in support of their team, the Polar Bears and the Bees. And we'll have the setting. But right now, let's pause for this word. We'll be back with more pregame information after this word from the City National Bank. Today, we should say, this afternoon, for the Fairmont East Bees and the Polar Bears. Let's give the Polar Bears first, since they are the visiting team this afternoon, their blue uniform. And as I said, Coach Bob De Lorenzo said this may be a factor in their favor because they play better on the road, so they will be the road game in a sense here today. Their starting lineup at left end will be a senior, Keith Davis, 5'10", 150, and he'll be alternating with Gary McCutcheon, a sophomore, at 5'9", 130. At left tackle, another senior, Cleve Jackson, 5'8", 200 pounds. At left guard, a junior by the name of Ed Merrifield, 5'5", 145, and a junior. Ed will be wearing number 63 this afternoon. At center, the outstanding center for the Polar Bears, Ron Pizzatella. Ron DeVoe at 5'10", 180, and a senior. At right guard will be Doug Viafor, 5'8", 185, and a junior. At right tackle, Dave Whiteman, 6'2", 205 pounds. Dave is a senior playing his final game today. And at right in, another senior, Derek Papa Horton, 5'11", 170, and a senior. In the backfield for the Polar Bears this afternoon, at left halfback, Mike Armstead, who is a junior, had a fine game against Bridgeport last week. Mike is 5'10", 145, a junior. At right halfback, and we'll be alternating at that position this afternoon. Right halfback will start today, Albert York, a senior, 5'9", 145. He will be alternating with Willie Robinson, 5'9", 155. Willie also a senior. At that right end position, the tight end position for the Polar Bears, Coach Bob D says there will be some replacements there. Alternating in that spot will be Papa Horton and also a sophomore, Craig Gross. So that's the lineup. At quarterback, the senior Rick Angeline, and he seems to be the threat against the Bees here today, as you heard on their pregame comments. Rick is 5'8", 145, and he will be the quarterback here this afternoon. For the Fairmont East Bees, the homestanding Bees today under Coach Joe Ross, and they have not won this East-West game since 1971. And at that time, it was Terry Galambus at quarterback and a 28-0 shutout for the East Bees over the Polar Bears. Since that time, the Polar Bears have come on to win in 72, 31-14, and 73, 36-16, and then last year, 24-15. And as you can indicate, all scoring ball games, the only shutout, there's only been 3 shutouts in the past 10 years. And 2 of those have been Fairmont East shutting out West 28-0 and 27-0 in 66. West then shutting out East in 70, 13-0. One tie in that span, 13-13. That came in 1968. So it's been some kind of series, very popular in the state of West Virginia, East beating West. The offensive starting lineup for the Fairmont East Bees this afternoon of Coach Joe Ross. His assistants Jim Kale, Bob Brookover, and Lynn Boffantino. At left end will be Steve Asa. He's 5'10", 142, and a junior. At tackle will be Mike Hall. He's 5'10", 177, a junior. At the other tackle, Jeff Zikovic. He's 6', 193, and a senior. At guard will be Randy Bunner, another senior at 5'8", 163. At the other guard position, another senior, Billy Martin, at 5'8", 200 pounds. At center for the first time this year, Jeff Noshel. He's 6', 170. Jeff is also a senior. At the right end position will be Mark Lockwood. He's 5'10", 175 and a senior. Mark will also go at defensive end for the Bees this afternoon. In the backfield for the Fairmont East Bees, and they have been plagued by injuries this year, Mike Sicchetti will be back here at the halfback position. Mike is 5'8", 152. Mike is playing in his final game as he is a senior. At fullback will be Tom Lowe. He's 6'1", 170 and a junior. At that position at the start of the year was Mark Servo, a young man which we told you at the beginning of the ball game just was released after his shoulder operation this morning to see this game and is here sitting on the Fairmont East bench. But in his spot, a junior Tom Lowe, 6'1", 170. At right halfback, Dave Shelton. He's 6 foot, 175 and a senior. And Dave was not in that starting spot at the beginning of the year, as we had Mike Leonard, a senior, who suffered a dislocated hip. And I believe that was in the Liberty ball game, and a freak accident. And we understand that Mike is also sitting on the bench, as we have about 5 of the injured Fairmont East Bees on the East bench here this afternoon. Well, the Polar Bears have come out to our left, fired up for this one. The East Bees have remained on the field and not going back to the dressing room. And we're going to go down the field now for the playing of our national anthem. There it is, the playing of our national anthem by the Fairmont East Bee Band, and Bob Hanks stepping in to let our miners know whether or not they're working this afternoon. And it's a beautiful afternoon at East West Stadium, and you couldn't ask for a better afternoon. A little bit windy, but very warm and comfortable to watch this one between Fairmont East and Fairmont West. As we said, the Polar Bears come into this one with a disappointing 3-6 record. They open up with a loss to Lewis County 14-6, and then an identical loss to Morgantown, both here at the stadium 14-6. Then started the road games, 3 in a row and 3 victories in a row over Phillip Barber 28-8, over Grafton 36-8, and then in a squeaker over Liberty on a rainy night 14-12. Then came back to lose 4 consecutive ball games here at East West Stadium, Buchanan, thumping them 28-12, and of course remaining undefeated as they are right now. Elkins over Fairmont West 12-8. Washington Irving over the Polar Bears 12-6, and Bridgeport in their last game Friday night at Bridgeport 27-18. That scored halftime of the Bridgeport game was 20-0. Polar Bears came back with 4 minutes remaining in the game to narrow it down to 20-18, but that was as close as they were to come in that game. And 2 costly penalties on roughing the kicker and a personal foul following that one really hurt the Polar Bears' drive in that one. Well, coming to the center of the field from the far side for the Polar Bears will be Papa Horton wearing number 80 this afternoon, and along with him, Rick Angeline. We will have honorary captains for Fairmont East coming out, along with Mike Sicchetti, and also Ken Bissett will be coming out, Gary Yost. Now, these will be the 3 co-captains, but all the other seniors, the other 10 other seniors, will be honorary captains this afternoon. One coming up to the center, Sicchetti and Kenny Bissett. Bissett and Angeli will be our quarterbacks this afternoon, and they're being introduced to our officials, who are Bill Ballard, our referee from Jane Lowe. Our field judge from Weston will be Charlie Hartman. From Grafton, Lonnie Lowe, our umpire, and from Morgantown, our headlines from this afternoon will be Van Anderson. Well, Fairmont stay with an off week. This week, they'll get back into their final game next Saturday night here at East West Stadium against the West Liberty Hilltoppers in a conference game. Next Friday night, we'll have one for you in high school action, as the Reedsville Rams will get set to play their last regular game. And we say regular because they're hoping to get in that Class Single A playoff. And in case you heard a score last night, I believe it was Ridgely over Franklin. And the scores which were released by the news service wires had it as 61-60. That was a mistake. That final score in that one was Ridgely 61, Franklin 0. So if you thought that was a close one, and it was a mistake, 61-61 is the final score. Well, now the toss of the coin at Fairmont East. Fairmont East will be kicking off for the Polar Bears. Now the Polar Bears will be kicking off, and East has won the toss of the coin. They elect to receive, defend a goal to our left. Polar Bears will be kicking off from right to left, and we notice now that kicking off this afternoon will be Rick Angeline. Normally we have Tony Armstead kicking off, but this afternoon, to start this ball game, Rick Angeline will do the kicking off for the Polar Bears. Steve Atha will be back to receive along with Tom Lowe. Atha will be down the middle. On the near side, Bill Taylor, Tom Lowe on the far side. As we said, next Friday night, we'll bring you the Reedsville Pine Grove game, and Pete Tell points out I neglected to mention the starting fullback for West Fairmont this afternoon. That will be the sophomore 5'6", 145 Skeeter Delegati. Coaching staff of the Polar Bears, head coach Bob DeLorenzo, his offensive coach Skip Delegati, assistant coach Bill Lawson, and also our student teaching coach Mike Skinner, a graduate of the Polar Bears and quarterback who played in this very same game. This one, the 55 55th meeting is underway, and in the end zone goes Asa. Steve Asa takes the opening kickoff, and it takes him back to the end zone. They'll bring it out to the 20. So Rick Angelite opening up the ball game, and the Bees will move first on this afternoon, moving from left to right. Not a good crowd as always for the East-West meeting here at the stadium. The final game for these two, 3-6 Polar Bears, 6-3 Fairmont East. East came up with a big win, their third game of the year, playing at Pony Lewis Field, Morgantown, defeating the Mohegans on their home turf. And then came up losing to Grafton, Buchanan, and last week defeated WI. Here's the handoff, and it's Bissett. Bissett giving off to Sacchetti for the first play of the ball game. On a big defensive move by Dave Whiteman, and there may be a loss on the play. The defense of the Polar Bears fired up on the first offensive play. There will be a loss of 2, marked it back to the 18-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 12. Ball game just underway. East-West, no score. And the ball is marked down at the East 18-yard line. Polar Bear defense set now to try to stop him again. At quarterback is senior Ken Bissett. Bissett this time gives off to Shelton. Shelton in the right side, cutting the corner. And he gets by Jim Fetty and finally brought down by Steve Smith, the safety, sophomore safety. 4. And marking at the 26-yard line. The East 26, sideline right, open field left for Ken Bissett, 6'1", 175. And he likes to pass. This one is the shuttle to the right side of Sacchetti. Sacchetti is the sideline, pushed out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. Running him out of bounds on that side, Flea Jackson, Steve Smith, Jim Fetty, and also Pizzatella. Mike Sacchetti picking up the first down, and that is the first down of the afternoon as the Bees pick it up. And they will mark it down at the 34-yard line. The East 34. No score in the ball game with 10:50 remaining in the first period, just underway here at East-West Stadium. Set to go now, Jeff Noshel over the ball first, playing at center in his first year, and he's a senior. At quarterback, Bissett, to Ketty, Lowe, and Shelton in the backfield, and it goes this time to Lowe. Check that, Shelton was the ball carrier. Jim Tucker and Cleve Jackson team up to make the stop, along with an assist by Billy Wick. Mark it for a gain of 3, 2nd down and 7, and mark it at the 37. The East 37, so the Bees keeping it on the ground and moving steadily against this Polar Bear defense. Here in the first quarter with no scores. 2nd down, 7, 10:20 showing on the clock. First period at the stadium. The game coming your way live on WMMN. Here comes Sacchetti wide right. Sacchetti will be run out of bounds here on the near side by Jim Fetty. Fetty running Sacchetti out in front of the East bench. And let's wait to see where they're marking in. And it should be at about the 42-yard line. Now we'll bring it in about the 43-yard line. 3rd down and 3 coming up. 10-10 showing on the clock, no score. East with their first offensive drive and the first offensive drive of the ball game. On a 3rd and 3 for Bissett. Bissett with a count, turn, the handoff. This time it is Lowe. Lowe trying to find running room in the middle of the line, and very little gain, if any. Jeff Wise and Doug Beaport there to make the stop. It is another first down. So Tom Lowe had it up for the first down at his first down number 2 for the Bees. And this will be marked down at the 45-yard line, still in East territory. Papa Horton comes back to talk with Jim Fetty. And Armstead and Fetty now change sides on the defensive lineup for the Polar Bears as he sets to go from their own 45 on a 1st and 10. Bissett on the second man throw, and it's Dave Shelton. Shelton will be shy of the 50. Mark it down at the 49-yard line. A follow the foul was Whiteman and Papa Horton. 9:34, and whistle has been sounded. West will want a timeout, the first timeout of the afternoon with no score. Time in for this message.
Health and savings.
Short timeout. Mike Sacchetti taking the handoff from Bissett, and a big defensive play by Jeff Wise, the junior. At his defensive end position comes up to make a loss on the play. Mark it now for a 3rd down and 11. That one a loss of about 6 yards. Mark it back at the 44-yard line. Set to go now, Bissett, the center of the field. Bissett dropping back, first pass attempt the afternoon, and it's complete. Complete to Mark Lockwood, and it's going to be first down East. Tony Armstead covering on the play, and the first pass of Ken Bissett is complete. It is good for about 16 yards. Ken Bissett connecting to Mark Lockwood, another senior, and it's first down number 3 for the East Bees, and the first penetration into Polar Bear territory. Mark it down at the Polar Bear 40-yard line. So the third first down on this drive for Fairmont East. And there's 8 minutes and 45 seconds showing the clock. We're playing the first period, no score. East has taken their opening drive now down to the Polar Bear 40. Sideline right, Bissett this time, and a big hole. Tom Lowe down the sideline. Lowe cuts back in. He's got another first down, making the stop with Smith. Actually, he just tripped him up, and Lowe came down, but it's another first down and a gain of about 14 yards for Tommy Lowe, a junior, the fullback. And it's first down number 4. The Bees moving against this Polar Bear defense and opening up the holes, cutting the corner. First and 10. Mark the ball down at the Polar Bear's 30-yard line. The 30-yard line, and now they flick Jackson to the right side, Whiteman on the left side, along with Tucker on defense for West. Ken Bissett turns, the handoff, it's Sacchetti. Sacchetti, very little running room up the center. He runs into Billy Wick and Ron Pizzatella. And that one will be a gain of a little more than a yard. They're going to mark it for second down and 8. And mark the ball down at the 27.5-yard line. Mark it at the 27. Clock shows 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Second down and 8 coming up for the East Bees as they're moving. And this is their first offensive drive of the ball game, and they're using up a lot of time and marching ever closer to touchdown territory. The big play thus far on this drive has been Bissett with that pass to Mark Lockwood. And now they're set to go on a second and 8. Bissett this time to Shelton. Shelton in the left side, second man through. He's across the 25, down to the 24-yard line. On the bottom of the foul, Pizzatella. Round the bull, Pizzatella, the senior, middle guard, along with Horton, another senior, making the stop. And it's third down and 4. Mark it at the 24. That one good for a gain of 3. Little over 3-yard gain on the play. 7 minutes and 40 seconds remaining, no score. We're playing the first quarter of the East-West League, the 55th between these two schools since 1921. This time Bissett giving off to Lowe, Tom Lowe, and he finds very little running room on the left side as Pizzatella was there to plug up the hole and leading the charge in a good defensive move by Ron the Bull Pizzatella, who seems to be everywhere. That one will be no gain. Fourth down and 4 at the 24 again. As the Bees face a 4th and 4 from the Polar Bear 24 with 7:12 remaining in the first quarter and no score. East-West. The Polar Bear defense has been in there all the way. Here's Bissett dropping back, looking. Wise is after him. He gets away from Wise, cuts back in, and then he's brought down at about the 20, and he should have the first down. Tony Armstead stopped him. Wise was in hot pursuit. But Armstead got the stop, and I think it's going to be enough for the first down. It is. So a nice move by Ken Bissett. They couldn't stop him in time, and he picked up 4 yards for the first down. That is number 5, as I have it on the afternoon. Well, Paul says 4. We'll go with that one. 4 first downs unofficially for East on this drive, and now they have it at the Polar Bear 14-yard line. The handoff, Sacchetti, and Sacchetti cannot get away from Jim Fetty, the sophomore, who's played all year in that defensive backfield for the Polar Bears and only a sophomore at 5'10", 150. So Mike Sacchetti could not get around Jim Fetty, but he gained 3 on the play, second down and 7. And it will be marked down at about the 16-yard line. I think I said it got underway at the 14. Mark it at the 16. Cal Turner, a sophomore, has come into the West lineup replacing senior Jim Tucker. The ball now at the Polar Bear 16 on a second and 7. Bissett to Lowe, stumbling and brought down finally by Jim Fetty. Tommy Lowe, the ball carrier, is a fullback for the Bees. Actually lost his footing as he crossed the 15 and was brought down very close to the 13-yard line. Third down and 5 situation coming up for East. Clock shows 5:39 on a beautiful afternoon in the friendly city of Fairmont for the 55th meeting between the East Bees and the West Polar Bears. East the home team this afternoon with a better record of 6-3, West with a 3-6. Bissett, and he gives off again to Lowe. Lowe spinning off, but they stop him shy of the 10-yard line. Ron Pizzatella was there, and that's going to bring up 4th down and 3. 4th and 3, and coming into the East lineup with the play comes Mike Hall, and out of there will come Harry Cumston. Cumston and Hall alternating at the tackle position. And now Hall is in the lineup for the Bees on a 4th down and 3. 4th and 3, mark it at about the 11-yard line, the West 11. Bissett, wide one back to Sacchetti. Sacchetti trying to cut in. And very close to the first down. Let's see if the Polar Bears held. It's going to be very close. And the stop was made by Dave Whiteman and Cal Turner. Turner's a sophomore, a good-looking sophomore, 6'2", at 190. And it's going to be close enough for a measurement. And I don't know. It's going to be that close. They need the 3. Sacchetti cutting into the right side of the line. They're going to bring the chains in from the far side. The clock shows 4:50, no score. This will be a very big measurement for these Bees. And it's first down, Fairmont 8. And that is first down number 5, and a big one for the Bees as they continue to keep this drive alive. They started from their own 20, and they have marched down inside the West 10-yard line, mark it at the West 8. So the Polar Bears are going to have to get tough as Ron Tissetel, their leader, talks it up. Up front, now set to go. The Bees on a 1st and goal to go from the West 8-yard line. Ken Bissett, turn, keeps, cuts back in, and they're there to stop him. That would look like a busted play for these Bees. And let's see if there's any gain at all. Jim Tucker, who's back in on defense, making the stop for the Polar Bears on Kenny Bissett, the quarterback. They mark it for a short gain of 1, 2nd down and 7. Mike Hall and Compton again alternating at that tackle position. These will be the messenger tackles this afternoon for Coach Joe Ross's Bees. Well, the Bees are set to put up 2nd and goal to go from the 7. Bissett, sideline right and open field left. He'll go to the air. The rush is on. They're after him. He gets away from Wise. Unloads into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Double coverage in the end zone by Ron Pizzatella and Papa Horton. Breaking up the pass intended for Mark Lockwood. And what pressure was put on Bissett by Jeff Wise, but he got away from the junior defensive player for the Polar Bears, and Bissett this afternoon is 1 for 2 in the passing department. 63 yards on that drive thus far for the East Bees, as they have it now on a 3rd down and 7 at the Polar Bears 7. No score in the ball game here at East West Stadium on this Saturday afternoon, the 1st day of November, and a windy afternoon. So watch this one. Set to go. Bissett set to move him on a 3rd and 7. He's rolling. He gets away from Tucker. Still after him now is Beafor. He unloads the end zone, and it is intercepted by Horton of the Polar Bears. Horton down the sideline on the right, run out of bounds inside the 40-yard line. Jeff Noshel making the stop on Derek Papa Horton. And there's the first big turn of this ball game. The Bees had it at the West 7. The Polar Bears came back to take off the 3rd pass, and Horton bobbled that one around like a hot potato, finally took it in possession and brought it. And we have an East player shaken up on the far side on the play. Well, Pete, that one, and they say an East-West game is made on breaks. You'd have to say that one was going to have to be the first break for the Polar Bears because East was moving with ease against them, but they got tough inside the 10.
Yeah, that's right, Jack. On the pass just before that, Horton had great coverage in the end zone. I noticed the ball went through the receiver's hand, hit him in the shoulder pads, and bounced up in the air. No one was looking. It would have been a free ball. It happened right before that. That time, he saw it up in the air, juggled around, caught it, and brought it out.
Okay, we don't know who the injured player is for the East Bees on the far side if they're giving it some attention. But I think we're going to get set to go. This is the first time this afternoon we have seen the Polar Bear offense as the defense has been in there. And we only have 3:47 remaining in the first quarter. The ball will be placed at the 27-yard line, so the Polar Bears take over for the first time this afternoon on their 27. James White was in on defense for the Polar Bears, putting hot pursuit on Bissett on that last drive. Here's Angeline giving off, and Delegati goes nowhere. In fact, there's going to be a loss on the play. Peter Delegati is dropped by Jeff Zikovic. Zikovic, a defensive tackle, came in to stop him, and there's going to be a loss of almost 2 yards on the play back to the West 25-yard line. Market for loss of 2, 2nd down and 12. 3:25, and Gary McCutcheon, the sophomore, in there, comes wide left. Wide left is McCutcheon, tight end right is Horton. Dropping back. It's Angeline keeping, but getting in there to drop him was Gary Yost, the defensive end, Gary Yost, who is supposed to be wearing number 88, but he made some alterations on his number, and it looks like he's wearing 89. He just placed a little piece of tape over it, so he's wearing 89 today. You just go down there, Pete, take off that tape, you'll find 88 underneath. 3rd and 13, marking at the 25-yard line, so there's no gain on that last play. In motion goes Armstead. Dropping back, rolling right. Angeline has time, unloads down the middle. It's complete to Horton. Horton across the 45. Horton will be brought down at the 49 of the Polar Bears. Papa Horton takes it in. A first down for the Polar Bears. Harry Compton makes the stop at the west 49-yard line. So the big pass play, and that one covers 24 yards for Rick Angeline. So he's tight end, Papa Horton. And Horton is the man that picked off the east pass from the 7-yard line and set it up at the 27. Now the Bees set to go on defense. Polar Bears at their 49-yard line. Angeline gives off, pitch back to Delegati, cutting the corner. The sophomore across the 50, down to about the east 47, where Mike Sicchetti makes the stop for the East Bees.
Delegati made by number 20, Mike Sicchetti.
Mike Sicchetti making the stop on Skeeter Delegati. So number 20 of the East meets number 20 of the West. They will mark it down at the 46-yard line. And that is the first time this afternoon that West has marched into East territory. Second down and 5. Delegati picks up 5 on their last drive. Coming wide left will be a senior, Keith Davis. In the slot left, Armstead. Armstead will go in motion to the right. Angeline drops the handoff. This time it's York. And York is in and across the 45-yard line where Mike Sicchetti stops him at about the 43. Well, now the Polar Bear offense is moving against this East defense.
For the Polar Bears.
I don't know who the injured player was for Fairmont East, but I understand it may have been Billy Martin, the right guard, but we won't second guess on that. Third down and 2 situation, a gain of 3 by York. Angeline set to go with Armstead in motion. Angeline gives off and straight up the middle. This time will go York, I believe. Randy Bunner making the stop. That time it was Delegati. Bunner making the stop. Randy Bunner makes the stop for the Bees. And it will be shy of the 40, mark it down at the 41-yard line. Clock shows 48 seconds remaining in the first quarter, no score here at East West Stadium. And the injured player was Billy Martin for the Fairmont East Bees. Well, the Bees have had problems this year with their injuries. And they have quite a few on the sideline right now. I can tell you just quickly glancing down to the right on crutches. And Mark Servo just came out of the hospital this morning with a shoulder operation. He's on the sideline. Set to go on a 4th and 1. And Angeline tries to go up the middle. And I don't believe he made it. Harry Compton was there to make the stop. I don't believe Angeline made it. They're going to call for a measurement. That was so quick. They needed 1. Well, I don't know. If he missed it, he's going to miss it by inches. If he got it, it's going to be by inches. And it's going to be just that much. 20 seconds showing on the clock. And it will be first down, I believe, Polar Bears. It is first down. Well, that took a long decision. How much air is put in a ball, Pete? 19 seconds remaining, the clock running down. And this first quarter has seen some kind of first quarter. A typical East-West game, as they always are. Gary McCutcheon, the sophomore, will come wide left. He's in there to replace Keith Davis. In the slot right, Mike Armstead, and he can burn you. Here's Angeline, and he will go nowhere. Mike Sicchetti came in. Sicchetti came in to sack Rick Angeline. Sicchetti came out of nowhere to sack Angeline back at the 46-yard line, and there it is. The end of the first quarter of play from East West Stadium. No score between East and West. Time in for this word.
It's a little bit better for you every day. You do a lot more living in your very own way.
Passing in for number 20, John Delgado was incomplete. It'll be 30-15 for West Fairmont.
You don't want to make mistakes like that one in an East-West ball game because that will cost you. Here comes McCutcheon from the far side. Well, the Polar Bears are on the far side of the field, and that's an unusual spot for them. But they haven't had any luck at all on this side, so they might as well stay on that side this year. Set to go now to 3rd and 15. In motion to our direction comes Armstead. Here goes Angeline on the left side of York, and York will go nowhere. He fumbles the ball. But I believe it was blown dead. York, they tried to set up a screen left side, or just a short pass and left flat. Actually, he had no protection up front at all. And the ball will remain in possession of Fairmont West. Randy Bunner was there leading the charge for the Bees. This East defense has been tough all year long, and they're even tougher right now. 4th down at 24. Dave Hanna, 6'4", red-headed sophomore, comes in here to punt from his own 30-yard line. Low snap. Hanna goes down to get it, gets it off, and Sacchetti puts pressure on, and it takes the roll. The Polar Bears are there to down it, and it is down by Keith Davis at about the 23-yard line. Very close to the 20. Check that, the 28-yard line. The 28-yard line, and that's where the Bees will take over. No score.
28-yard line.
No score in the ball game, East and West. And we're just into the second quarter on a sunny Saturday afternoon. It's Rye Field and a perfect setting for the East-West game. So far, they're in a deadlock. Set to go now, Kenny Bissett. Right side, Sacchetti with a burst of about 8 yards. Ron Pizzatello there to stop the speeding halfback Mike Sacchetti, who's their leading ground gainer for the Bees, coming into the ball game. As Sacchetti will have 8-9 yards out of that play. Marking across the 35, very close to the 37.
Play will be 2nd and 2 for East Fairmont.
And it will be, now they say a little over a yard, so about 1.5 yards to go for the first. 2nd down and 2, 10:28 remaining in the second period. No score here at East West Stadium between East and West, coming your way on WMMN 920 to Dow, Fairmont. This time Sacchetti will find some running tough into the right side as he runs into 6'2", 205-pound senior Dave Whiteman. And that one may call for measurement.
West Fairmont making the stop on Sacchetti.
10 minutes and 15 seconds as the clock is stopped. Another first down for the Bees. So the Bees pick up another first down. They're still in their own territory, and that is first down number 6 for the Bees this afternoon. And the Bees have controlled that ball here in the first half, with the exception of that one pass intercepted by Horton. Returning it from about the 7 to the 27. And the Polar Bears marched down, but could go no more as East defense shut him off. And now East has the ball back again. Dropping back, Bissett, Wise is after him. The elbow to Sacchetti. He's got it, and Horton drops him in his tracks. There will be a loss on the play. The pass is complete, but a loss on the play. Jeff Wise, the junior, has really been after Bissett all afternoon, and you can just feel something coming. He's going to attack him sooner or later. He is always a couple steps behind him, in front of him before he unloads that ball. That one now will face a 2nd and 12. 2nd and 12 coming up. With 9:20, Bissett drops back, and a pass is incomplete, intended for Steve Asa. That one looked like they were going in slow motion. 9:18, the clock is stopped on the incompleted pass. Well, Pete, I think Bill Martin, their right guard, a senior, 5'8", 200 pounds, was taken to the dressing room. I don't see number 66 in the lineup on the field, and I don't see him here on the near sideline. Okay, the Bees facing a 3rd and 12, a passing situation. Unloading. Bissett to Sacchetti. Sacchetti will lose more on the play as Papa Horton again is there to drop Sacchetti. Well, thus far, it's been a defensive battle this afternoon. 2 fine defensive units, the Polar Bears and East Bees. And so the Bees will have to give it up on a 4th and 14 as Billy Karofsky should be coming in there. And that is the 6th pass put in the air by the Bees. They've completed 3 out of 6, 1 intercepted by Horton. They have failed to connect on their last 3 attempts. 4th and 14 as Karofsky will be punting. Billy is a junior. It's a high snap. He gets it off. 2-man rush, and he'll come down to York at the 25. York bobbles it at the 20. Now picks it up, and the Bees are there. They'll drop him back at about the 16-yard line. Albert York was standing at the 25. They'll back with that ball, and finally they say the 18-yard line. Gary Yost stopped him at that point along with Randy Bunner. 8.5 minutes, and back and forth we go. No score here at East West Stadium.
West Fairmont will take over 1st and 10.
And it will be Fairmont West now. They'll take over. This will be their 19-yard line. The last time they started at their 27. Set to go now. Up and over the ball comes Ron Pizzatello. Goes 2 ways. It's Polar Bears. And at quarterback, Rick Angeline. In motion comes Armstead. Angeline keeping. Rolling right. Angeline takes a good crack as he crosses the 20. Tommy Lowe leading him first. And then Gary Yost came in. You know, some defensive players, they just look mean when you look at them cross that line. And one of those such players today is Gary Yost. He's 6 foot 167, wearing 89 this afternoon, and he looks mean when he comes at you. 7:40 remaining in the first half. Second down and 7. Angeline gained 3 on the last play. From the 21, Angeline gives, and this time it is Armstead nowhere. Mike Armstead, the junior, will be, I think, a loss on the play of 1. Jeff Zikovic made the stop for the Bees, and the clock turns with 7:20. Well, this afternoon, the halftime show will be worth the price of admission here at East West Stadium, as we have 2 fine bands always at the East West game. The Polar Bear Marching Band of Fairmont Senior High and the Busy Bee Band with a fantastic front line. Paul will tell you about that. 3rd and 9 coming up for the Bees. In motion goes York. Angeline will go to the area, loads down the middle, looking, and it's intercepted by Bissett. It was looking for Davis. Bissett intercepted. And Keith Davis brings him down. Davis was the intended receiver, and Bissett now is intercepted. So both sides have picked off passes this afternoon here in the first half. And now the Bees will take over, and Bissett will go in at quarterback at the 41-yard line of Fairmont West.
Fairmont, 40-yard line.
The Bees will move from the West 41-yard line. No score, East and West playing in the second quarter with 6:45 remaining in this first half. Coming wide left will be the junior Steve Asa. In the slot right will be Sacchetti. Dropping back, Bissett pumps one, looking, has plenty of time, unloads for Asa. Asa has it, touchdown, East Fairmont. A 41-yard touchdown. And Steve Asa was well ahead of the Polar Bears to score that one, took it in about the 4, away in the end zone. The closest man covering was Jim Fetty, the sophomore. He just came out in the open, and the junior, Steve Asa, puts the first score on the scoreboard with 6:29. Remaining in the second quarter, the Bees strike first this afternoon. And it came off the passing arm of Ken Bissett.
Number 14. Bill Karofsky will attempt the extra point.
Now, Bill Karofsky will attempt to make it 7-0. Holding Bissett, the kick is up, and it is good. The score. Here's the second quarter now from East West Stadium at Fairmont East 7. Polar Bears nothing to Message.
Hillside Davy, a large selection, quality just for you.
It's Hill's policy to discount everything possible in the store.
It'll be Billy Karofsky, 7-0 now, Fairmont East. I don't know what happened there. They started to come forward, and one of the officials stepped up. Yep, now we're set to go. 6:29, and the East Bees have scored. Karofsky, a good one, coming high, and it goes to Armstead. Armstead at the 6, looking for blockers up front. Mike Armstead is tripped up as he comes to the 24, and bringing him down from behind was Gary Yost. Yost tripped him up. Mike Armstead looked like he was going to try to come out of there, had some blockers up front, but Gary Yost and Tommy Lowe come in to make the stop. Mark it at the 25-yard line. The West 25-yard line. Kenny Bissett on that TD pass had all the time in the world to find his receivers, and he found Steve Asa, who was wide open in the left corner at about the 4-yard line. He just took it in, turned to win the end zone for 6. Karofsky make it 7-0. That's where we stand. From the 25, Rick Angeline dropping back. They've intercepted once. He unloads. This one's complete to Davis. Davis at the 45, slips at the 43 at Fairmont East. He was not touched. He fell to the ground. Bill Karofsky was there covering, but a big pass completion for the Polar Bears. 25 arrest to the 43 of East. Officials with a momentary timeout. We remind you that beginning this afternoon at 4:30, Bob Hank was scored on our musical scoreboard. And we'll let you know what's happening at Mountaineer Field this afternoon in State and West Virginia. 7-0 here at East West Stadium with East on top. West with the 1st and 10 from the East 43. Angeline late pitch to Delegati. Delegati trying to get away from Sacchetti, but does not. Mike Sacchetti was there waiting on him at the line of scrimmage. There'll be no gain on the play. Second down and still 10 from the 43.
Number 20, Mike Sacchetti.
A lot of running on the part of the sophomore fullback Delegati, but no gain whatsoever.
1 yard of the play.
Well, now they say about a half yard. So it's second down, 9.5 to go from the 42.5. You want to be technical about the whole thing. 5:15 remaining in the first half. East leading 7-0. They are the favorites coming to the game, and if history has it right, they should win here this afternoon. Dropping back, Angeline. Batted down. And it was batted down, I believe, by Jeff Zikovic. I believe Jeff Zikovic, the 6 foot 193-pound senior, got his hand on it to bat it down. 5 minutes remaining in the first half, with East leading 7-0. And East defense has been superb thus far. Well, Gary Yost about 2 yards inside the ball now gets back for the Bees. As Angeline set to go on a 3rd and 9. Angeline dropping back on a draw. It goes to Delegati. Delegati across the 40. Down to about the 36-yard line goes Skeeter Delegati. Falls forward inside the 30 to about the 34. Mike Sacchetti covering on the play. Not enough for the first down. 4th and 1. Angeline checks the far side. And we go for it, Coach, on a 4th and 1 from the B-34, trailing 7-0. And they're going to call for the change. He's going to be shy of the first down, without a doubt. West has picked up 3 first downs. He's going to be shy a yard. 13 yards. 4 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the first half. 7-0. East leading West. And the Polar Bears at the East 34-yard line right now. They were stopped before. Let's see what they do on a 4th and 1. Sunny afternoon, in motion comes Mike Armstead. The handoff and first down, Delegati. Delegati has the first down, plus about 3 to the 30. Mike Sacchetti makes the stop.
First down for West Fairmont.
At that time, Bill Karofsky also in on the stop. First down, Fairmont West. Mark it at the 30-yard line of East. Gain of 4 on the play for Skeeter Delegati, the sophomore fullback. The Polar Bears with 11 seniors on their roster here this afternoon. The East Bees with 13 seniors. Mike Leonard, a senior who is out with that freak accident and dislocated hip in the football game earlier this year. I believe it was against Liberty. Set to go now. Angeline keeping. And Angeline picked up a good hard yard and a half. And there to make the stop was Gary Yost and Mike Sacchetti.
And number 89.
Sacchetti comes up limping a little bit on his left leg. But in the East-West game, those injuries heal quick. 2nd down 8. Angeline has 2.
The Polar Bears are facing the 2nd and 8.
3rd down, 2nd down with 3 minutes and 45 seconds. 7-0, East leading. On a touchdown pass covering 41 yards from Ken Bissett to junior Steve Asa. Angeline now from the 28-yard line. Pitches a wide right. Here comes Delegati. Cuts back in. Delegati still running, spinning off inside the 20. Skeeter Delegati down inside the 20 has the first down. First down West inside B territory. That is first down number 5 for the Polar Bears this afternoon. Ed Canos making the stop for the Bees. Canos, defensive tackle, number 73 this afternoon, makes that stop. 3:15 as the Polar Bears come up to the 19-yard line, their line of scrimmage to B-19. Angeline sideline right. He pitches it wide left to York. York hesitates and cuts back in. Trying to find some running room, and he went nowhere. Angeline almost made contact with the ground as Jeff Zikovic, and Randy Butter made the stop on York. I think York must have been watching the Juice of Buffalo on TV last week. He tried that same move. Then again, he gained about 20 yards. That one gained zilch. 2nd down and 10. And timeout has been called. We'll hold on to it as our officials have been very quick on the timeout. Coming over the near side, Mike Sacchetti talking with Coach Joe Ross. Out of the far side, talking with offensive coach Skip Delegati, goes the head man, Rick Angeline. These Polar Bears playing those seniors after today have not lost, but they've been playing for the blue and white in the East-West game. Coach Joe Ross wants this one in the worst way. Joe hasn't won the East-West game since he took over his first year in 1971. They had a 28-0 shutout that year, and the quarterback was a young man who's playing his final year next Saturday night for Fairmont State, Terry Galambos, who is now the all-time career passer at Fairmont State College, passing up another fine young man who is the assistant football coach, the head basketball coach at Circleville High School this year, a fine gentleman by the name of Harold Bailey. Set to go down a 2nd down and 10 from East-West Stadium, 7-0 score. We're playing the 2nd quarter. The Polar Bears hoping to tie it up. Angeline dropping. Yost is after him, and he has him. Yost came in there, and they roll it in and completed pass, and Angeline unloaded that one. Delegati was in the area, so it will be ruled an incompleted pass. He was not intentionally trying to ground it. But it's a lucky break for the Polar Bears that Delegati was in the near neighborhood, because Mr. Yost came from the blind side. Coach Kale, Coach Brookover, Coach Ross says, hey, that should have been an intentional grounding. And you're going to argue a little bit in behalf of your team, but Delegati was in the vicinity. That's how they're going to rule it. It's going to be third down and still 10, marking at the 18-yard line. The East 18. This time Angeline with all the time in the world. He still has time. Now he unloads, and it is incomplete. It was intended for Armstead. Angeline had all the time in the world. Mike Sacchetti was there to drop Armstead. A nice defensive move by Mike Sacchetti. I know Sacchetti's not limping anymore. That will come back to the 18 and a 4th and 10 now from the East 18. And in comes the play with Keith Davis. Well, we see an East graduate on the side of the East side playing next week, and he played in that 28-0 ball game, I believe, John Sedera. Member of the Falcons football team. There's Angeline. Yost is after him. He gets away from Yost, unloads the bomb, and the end zone looking for Horton, and it is incomplete. It is incomplete. And Angeline and now Yost are squaring off. Angeline and Yost exchange a few words out at the center of the field. And what would an East-West game be without a little fisticuffs here or there? They think that's part of the program. Well, the Bees held off, and it will be 1st and 10 now for East as they take over. The Polar Bear drive was shut off, and we have 2 minutes and 24 seconds. And Angeline, a little bit frustrated, comes out of the west lineup and goes to the far side. I think Angeline thought there should have been pass interference in the end zone on that one. And the intended receiver, Horton, also protested there should have been pass interference, but 2 officials on the play, and no flag. And it is going to be East ball, 1st and 10 from their 18-yard line with 2:24. East leading 7-0. In Bissett turns, Sacchetti tries to hurdle one of the Polar Bears, and they nail him in midair. And coming in was Dave Whiteman and Ron Pizzatelli. Gain of 1 hard yard by Mike Sacchetti. Shy of the 20-yard line, marked it down at the 19. Well, the Bees lead 7-0. This afternoon, with 2 minutes remaining in the first half. East now, cutting off that Polar Bear drive, have taken over, and they face a 2nd down and 9 from their 19. Bissett will go to the air, and again, what time he has back there. Now he will come out of the pocket, and they're after him, and he will go down. But he is getting more time. Dave Whiteman and Cal Turner finally brought him down, but the Polar Bears are not getting in there to put the pressure on him. And Bissett is a pretty big quarterback, 6'1", 175, and a senior. And he comes up with a gain of about 6 yards.
25-yard line.
Quite a gain of about 5 yards for Ken Bissett. And timeout has been called by East with the score 7-0. East time in for this message.
It's a little bit better.
Breaking huddle now with 1:24 remaining here in the first half. 7-0. East leading a low-scoring first half. Wide right it comes now to Sacchetti as running room has the first down. Sacchetti really finding some running room in the right side. Stop made by Jim Petty, the sophomore, along with another sophomore, the safety man, Steve Smith. First down for the Bees, and that is number 7 on the afternoon. The East Bees who lead 7-0. And the Polar Bear Marching Band will be performing here first this afternoon, since this is the East home game. And we're set to go now. On a 1st and 10, Ken Bissett with 1:04 drops back into the pocket. Jeff Wise putting pressure on, unloads and connects to Lockwood. And Alan Lockwood made a fine catch at about the 45 down at the Polar Bear 40 by Tony Armstead. First down East. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the Polar Bear 40-yard line. 21-yard gain for the Bees, and the clock is showing 57 seconds, and East will call timeout. Stopping the clock as they set it up. It'll be at the west 40-yard line. 7-0 in the first half with 57 seconds remaining in this second period.
And the Polar Bears trailing 7-0 on this 55th meeting between these two rivals from across the river, the Bees and the Polar Bears. This is dropping back, looking, pumps one, still looking, unloads the bomb down the middle, looking, and intercepted by, I believe, Steve Smith. And that is the second interception of the afternoon for the Polar Bears, one by Horton, now by Smith. This one is picked off at the 9-yard line. Well, you can bet Rick Angeline's going to come out here. Well, you can't really bet. You don't know how the Polar Bears are going to try to play this. Are they going to settle for a 7-0, trailing 7-0, take it to the dressing room, hope to come back, or pull the stops out and try to go the full distance? The way East has been playing on defense, I think I'd settle for 7-0, go to the dressing room and keep that ball right where it's at and keep East from going in there, because they could pick it off. They have once already. Angeline, fly, the first of the afternoon. He unloads, looking for Armstead, no good. There's a penalty flag on the play. Penalty flag on the play, and it's going to be against, I believe, Fairmont West. So the Polar Bears will not go for the 7-0 halftime lead. They want to tie it up, but they come up with a penalty, and they'll have to talk about it in their own end zone. Half the distance back to the 4. Seven nothing. Comes Gary McCutcheon. McCutcheon into the West lineup, and the ball at the Polar Bear 4-yard line. Marking at the 4-yard line, Tisatella over the ball first for the Polar Bears, who trail 7-0 with 19 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Set to go now, Angeline keeping up the middle, and Angeline is up to about the 10. Now the Polar Bears, undoubtedly, are going to let the clock run down. Harry Compton makes the stop at the 10-yard line. Angeline gains 6 on the play, and that may be the final play of the first half. If the Polar Bears are letting the clock run, they're going to go to the dressing room. So a halftime score is Fairmont 7, the Polar Bears nothing, just message.
For this word from one of our cooperating sponsors.
It's a little bit better.
Getting set to get underway. The Bees Bill Karofsky will be kicking off to the Polar Bears. East leading 7-0. 14-10, third quarter, West Virginia over Kent State at Mountaineer Field. This one will go in the end zone. The Polar Bears will bring it back to their 20. The East kick will go into the end zone, and the Polar Bears will take over at their own 20-yard line, trailing 7-0 here in the start of the third quarter. Our only touchdown this afternoon has been from Ken Bissett, the quarterback for the Bees. 41 yards to Steve Asa is left in, 6-0. Karofsky's kick was good to make it 7-0. Bill Karofsky kicked a field goal last week against Washington Irving to take a 9-6 victory at Heights Field in Clarksburg. Now the Bees on defense. In motion comes Armstead. Angeline fumbling the ball. And it's Fairmont East ball. The fumble is recovered by the Bees. Well, the break makes an East-West game, and that time the Bees capitalized. Mark Lockwood fell on it at about the 18-yard line. Now they say it is at the 17. So Rick Angeline fumbling the ball, losing 3 yards. And now the East Bees will take over at the start of this third quarter from the West 17, leading 7-0. Coming wide left is Steve Asa. At quarterback, Ken Bissett, 6'1 senior. Bissett to Sacchetti. Sacchetti right side. They plug up the hole. The Polar Bears stopping Sacchetti, led by Rod Tisatella. And also Dave Whiteman. No gain on the play. Second and still 10.
No gain on that play.
Second down and 10.
Second and 10 situation.
Mark it back at the 17-yard line again. 7-0 ball game, East leading West as we start the second half of action here at East West Stadium. Bissett turns, this time it's the fullback Lowe. Lowe has blockers, Lowe at the 5, Lowe in the end zone, touchdown, East Fairmont. So the Bees come out here in the second half to capitalize on a Polar Bear fumble to score. And this one from the 17-yard line, and Tommy Lowe. Well, as history always, they say, indicates the winner of this ball game. And every year, the team with a better record has won it. And the Bees right now are going right along with that, leading 13-0. Karofsky to kick, it's up there. It is 14-0 East leading West. In the third quarter, just on the way, this message.
Kansas State.
Karofsky, 14-0. Karofsky has been good on both his conversion kicks.
And he gets a good one. This was going to go in the end zone and bring it back to the 20. Kowalski puts another one in the end zone. Well, the Bees are fired up now. They lead 14-0 after the Polar Bears fumbled at their 17-yard line. The Bees took it in on a fine run by Tommy Lowe to make it 13-0. And again, Kowalski 2 for 2 to make it 14-0. That's where we stand. Well, the Polar Bears are going to have to put that ball in the air. They'll now be playing from their 20-yard line. Angeline, the senior quarterback, sends Armstead in motion. Angeline gives off to Delegati. Delegati is double team, comes down as Harry Compton is first on the charge along with Tom Lowe. Skeeter Delegati, the sophomore fullback, will gain about 2 yards. Second down and 8 from the 22. Again, that score from Morgantown, 14-10. West Virginia leading Kent State. I believe at halftime it was 14-0. 10:35, clock running. We're in the third period at East West Stadium with the Bees on top, leading 14-0. And the Polar Bears now trying to get going on a second down and 8. In motion comes Armstead. Angeline gives off. It's Delegati. Delegati fumbling the ball. It's loose. Still loose. And it's East Fairmont with a second fumble in the third quarter. In less than 2 minutes, the Polar Bears have coughed up the ball twice. Mike Sacchetti recovering the fumble. Well, like I said, you don't make mistakes in this ball game and hope to win, and the Polar Bears have made 2 key mistakes. This time they coughed it up at the 29-yard line. Well, let's see what the Bees can do on this one now. Last time they put it in the end zone. Well, right now, Coach Joe Ross is going to call timeout. Time in for this word.
It's a little bit better.
Connects to sack Kenny Bissett. And a loss of about 15 yards. As Jeff Wise finally brings down Ken Bissett. Mark it back now to the 42-yard line. From the 42, East now will face a second down and 23. The Polar Bears have fumbled twice here in the start of the third quarter. Bissett dropping back, getting fine protection. Unloads, and it's short and incomplete. Covering on the play was Dougie Viafor, Jr. The intended receiver was Tommy Lowe, a junior also. So that is incomplete. Test one put in the air by Bissett this afternoon. He's hit on 5 out of 10, had 2 intercepted. And he is connected for 1 for a 41-yard TD. East leading 14-0. And we're set to go on a third and 23 for Ken Bissett, a 6'1" quarterback. For Coach Joe Ross's Bees on top, leading 14-0. Bissett unloads the bomb down the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Mark Lockwood. Lockwood, the intended receiver, at about the 19-yard line. Incomplete. That stops the clock with 9:28 remaining in the third quarter. Fourth down and again 23. Bissett will come out of there. Kowalski will come in to do the punting. 14-0. At halftime, it was 7-0. And in less than 50 seconds, East was on the scoreboard in the third quarter to make it 14-0. Bill Kowalski, the rush is on by the Polar Bears. And this one will be kicked out of bounds at about the 7-yard line. Well, Bill Kowalski kicked this one in good position to put the Polar Bears back at their 7-yard line. Well, the last 2 offensive tries by the Polar Bears, they have fumbled twice. Let's see what they do now. 9:22 remaining in the third quarter. East leading 14-0. On this Saturday afternoon, the first day of November, and the 55th meeting between East and West. Well, it's hard to believe watching these East injured players walk to the sideline. Now down at the 7 watching the play. Angeline gives off, and Delegati nowhere. Delegati stopped about the line of scrimmage by Compton and Bunner, then he is driven back inside the 5. They will mark it out at the 8.
What's Fairmont Polar Bears?
And that is no gain. Second down and 10.
Stop the line of scrimmage. West Fairmont.
Second down and 10. 8 minutes and just under 9 minutes remaining in the third quarter with the Bees on top leading 14-0. Here at East West Stadium, and the East Bees fans right in front of us enjoying the ball game immensely. Very quiet from the Polar Bears side.
Flag on the play as the ball is almost intercepted by the Bees. And covering on the play was Harry Cumpson, almost picking it off. Penalty flag on the play as Angeline unloaded that one. Clock is stopped with 8 minutes and 38 seconds. And they're talking with the co-captains of East. Illegal procedure is the call. It's declined against the Polar Bears. That will bring up third down and still 10.
Third and 10 for the West Fairmont Polar Bears.
And now the momentum of this ball game has definitely shifted to the Fairmont East Bees. The blue and gold leading 14-0 over the Polar Bears, who have not won this year at East West Stadium. And now trailing 14 points. Angeline dropping back, gives on the draw to Delegati. Delegati will come out of there to about the 10. That's it. As Randy Bunner was there.
The initial stop.
And that will bring up fourth down and about 8.
58. Randy Bunner reached Fairmont.
Fourth and 8 coming up for the Polar Bears. And Dave Hanna, the sophomore punter, will come in there. And a lot of pressure on the sophomore to be punting from his own end zone. Now the Bees will drop back, and even if they call fair catch, they're going to be in good field position as they're back at about the West 40. Here's the snap, the kick by Hanna, and it will come down and take a bounce, and the Polar Bears will knock it forward, and they will down it. It will be down at about the 34-yard line.
The ball is down by West Fairmont on their own 34-yard line. East Fairmont will take over there.
So the East Bees will take over the Polar Bears' 34-yard line. And like I said, no matter where that one came down, the Bees were going to come up in good field position. They got away from it. Let the Polar Bears down it, and they downed it at the 34. The Polar Bear defense now has given up 2 touchdowns. Their offense has coughed up 2 fumbles. And the Bees lead 14-0. And Bissett set to move and trying to get another one from the 34 of the Polar Bears to Ketty. Trying to run, but nowhere.
Number 73, Jackson.
Jim Tucker makes the stop, and that is not Sacchetti, but Gary Boyle, a senior, carrying the ball. Loss of 1, second down, loss of 2, second down and 12 from the 36.
Second and 12.
They drop him from the 34 back to the 36, and it's 14-0. East leading, wide left this time. Now Bissett to Sacchetti cutting the left corner right out of bounds around the 30 by Doug Viafor.
Sacchetti out of bounds.
Mike Sacchetti run out of bounds here on the near side. And let's see, they will mark it at the 30-yard line.
Ball is put down.
At the 30, a gain of 6 on the play by Sacchetti. Gain of 4 on the play by Sacchetti. Third down and 6 coming up. 7 minutes remain the third quarter with East leading 14-0 over West. Ken Bissett at quarterback this afternoon. He drops back into the pocket. Plenty of time again, unloads down the middle. It's complete to Alan Lockwood. Lockwood takes it in at the 10-yard line. Mark Lockwood, I should say. Mark Lockwood is stopped by Horton. Inside the 10, marking at the 9-yard line. 16-yard pass play from Bissett to Lockwood. And again, the Bees are threatening to make it a 3-touchdown lead in their favor. They lead now by 2. And coming out of the lineup for the Polar Bears is Fetty. He's replaced by James White. On a first and goal to go from the 9, Bissett to Lowe. Lowe cutting the corner, Lowe in the end zone. And there's a penalty flag on the play. Penalty flag on the play, and that one may be brought back.
A 9-yard run by
Tommy Lowe went in from 9 yards out, and I believe, it's going to be good. It is against the Polar Bears, and the third TD of the afternoon is good. The second one of the afternoon for Tommy Lowe, the fullback. So now the Bees have moved out to a 20-0 lead. Their second touchdown here in the third quarter. And you can't let a team like the East Bees get on top by 3 touchdowns and hope to come back. Here's Karofsky's kick. It's no good. Karofsky's kick is partially blocked as the rush was put on by the Polar Bears' Mike Armstead. So the score here in the third quarter with 6.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Now the East Bees 20, the Polar Bears nothing this word. The third quarter, Billy Karofsky kicks it into the end zone once again. So Karofsky has given the Polar Bears no chance for any good return, keeping them back on their 20. And the Polar Bears have been dealt their third touchdown of the afternoon. 2 by Tommy Lowe, the fullback. And he scored both of them on the same play, cutting those left ends of the Polar Bears and going right in there to make it 20-0 now with 6:36 remaining in the third quarter. The Polar Bears are unable to move against these East Fairmont Bees. Here comes the Delegati spinning off and finally in the secondary, and he is stopped. Never brought down, but stopped by Ed Kanos. Kanos makes the stop, and there's going to be a gain of about 6 yards, possibly very close to a 7-yard gain on the play. They mark it for a gain of 6, second down and 4. 6:16 remaining. And now the clock turning. Jeff Zikovic comes out of the East lineup. And it's a second down and 4. With the ball at the 26-yard line, the West 26. In motion comes Armstead. Angeline keeping up the middle. Angeline has the first down plus 2 more yards. Harry Compton makes the stop as the Polar Bears pick up another first down. Compton and Bunner in on the stop for the Bees. First and 10 for West at their own 33-yard line. 20-0 the score. East leading the Polar Bears in the East home game here this afternoon. And again, we go back to the fact that East has the better record of 6-3, leading 20-0 over the Polar Bears with a record of 3-6. Losing all their home games thus far this year. Here comes Willie Robinson. Robinson still running. Robinson is in the B territory, I believe. Right at the 50. Willie Robinson, a senior. Brought down by Tommy Lowe, but not before. He gained a good burst of speed, has the first down, and they place it down at the 50.
Now the Bees break huddle, and out they come. Right and right is Mark Rothler. He's picked up by Armstead. And the Bees are threatening to put their first one in, and they jump offside. These Bees jumping offside. And I believe Compton on the right side jumping off. And that was going to back it offside. And now they just looking at how he's going down. He's still out there in the six. That was the first one of the afternoon, I believe, against Fairmont. But it comes with 29 minutes remaining in the ball game. And like I said, in the past 10 years, we've only had 3 shutouts. 2 of those by the East Bees, at 27-0, 28-0, West in 1970, out of 13 seconds. Down out right now, 20-0. And the Bees set to go. They're going to try to pass for it. They're after Bissett. Bissett gets away from Wise at the 10, the 5, and down about the 1-yard line goes Tim Bissett. Number 44.
Tony Armstead stopped him at about the 1.
About the 1-yard line.
It'll be third and goal to go from the 1-yard line with 8 minutes and 33 seconds remaining in the ball game. East leading 20-0. Well, it's been a long afternoon for the Polar Bears, and it's been an even longer season. They lose this one this afternoon. They'll finish up the 75 season with the lowest record in a long time, 3-7. McKinney, they say Indians are touchdown. With the fourth touchdown of the afternoon. And he comes with 8 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the game. Mike McKinney, the head guy by a 26-7 ball game. Now Billy Karofsky, who is 3, 2 for 3, will get set for his fourth attempt at the NFL. They're going to take it, go for 2, and this is great. And a penalty flag is down. The Gibson who holds for Karofsky jumped up on that one. They tried to go for 2, then he goes to the end zone, but he was short. And a penalty flag on the play.
It'll be against Fairmont.
And they will give them the penalty on the football.
24 here in the fourth and final quarter.
He's now East 27.
Yes, nothing but nothing.
32-yard line to come down to York, who fumbles the ball, but he was going down at the 32.
Tommy Lowe covering on the play. 26-0 the score. And that game Friday night will be coming from Pine Grove. As never been to Pineville. I went to that neighborhood one night, Hayden City. I didn't get to see but what happened to ball game. I'm not too excited about going to Pineville unless I've had Western County. But I'm taking care of maybe a little bit better. Dropping back, Angeline unloads down the middle with it. Intercepted by Tommy Lowe. Lowe is going to go down to the 5 and right down to the 45. Well, it's been a release in on this 50-50 meeting, I'll tell you that. The Pool Bears, there's no doubt in anybody's mind, are being soundly defeated. Now they have been picked off. Tommy Lowe, who has scored 2 touchdowns, takes the ball down to the 6-yard line. Here's section by number 30, Tommy Jones for that. All-star, sitting in the corner. This is a grab lead of the blue and white. Well, it has to happen. Sorry about that. Here goes Bishop, Pichetti, and Pichetti. Almost got his head through by Jim Tucker and Steve Smith. Pichetti is inside the 5. They started from the 6. That went for a gain of 3 down to the, well, they say a gain of 4 down to the 2. So it's second and goal to go for the East B. They have a 26-0 shutout going with 7 minutes remaining in the ball game. And here is Putnam to break into the 30. From the 4-yard line, Bishop, Pichetti, and Pichetti same play into the left side of the line. And Mike, this time I don't believe gained anything or lost. And he stopped him back at the line of scrimmage, marking again at the 4. Coach Tucker, just before, made the stop on Pichetti once again. Well, they're going to whip it up tonight on the east side of the river. Mercantile Avenue Speedway and East Park will be loaded with scores about. Here goes Pichetti, end zone, touchdown! Well, Max Pichetti has come out with his second touchdown here in the 4th quarter to make it a 32-0 ball game. So the Bees, adding more and more points and enjoying it this afternoon, as it's 32-0 each. Royals trotting quickly off the field for it. And just go, this is holding. Brusky will be kicking to make it 33. It's up there. It is good. And the score is 6 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the game. It's now 33 with nothing. Tommy Lowe with a real good tackle at that spot at the 20-yard line on the sophomore Peter Delegate. It's 33-0 with 6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the game. And this afternoon, the blue and gold. The blue and gold of Fairmont are shining at East West Stadium. In the last 10 ball games, West has had a one-game edge, but this is going to even things up this afternoon. Set to go, Rick Angeline keeping and pitching on late with Robinson sends off the left circle, and Robinson has the first down. Willie Robinson with the first down. Willie Robinson on the move for the left side of the ball there. Brad Foot. That's it for side. 5'11", 258-pound junior. That's first down number 7 this afternoon for the Polar Bears, who have a 33-0 tail end of an East-West game with 6 minutes remaining in the game. Coming live left will be Keith Davis. Angeline dropping back, goes to that. Angeline loads down the middle and incomplete. Intended for Horton, and a penalty flag is down. Run on the play. And it's going to be against Fairmont. And I don't know who got a hand on Angeline, but that's who the penalty went on. It may have been Mark Lockwood, the defensive end. Gary Yost is the other defensive the 46. That one for a gain of 5. That's Kino. After Delegati makes a gain of 5 on the pass play. Second round at 5 coming up. They mark the ball down on the West Virginia Mountaineers score at the 49-yard line. 24-13. Well, if that was a final for West Virginia, they gave us a score 24-13. I believe it is a final. They may be playing in the fourth quarter. They think they're winning 33-0. Angeline. And Angeline gets a good crack from Lockwood as he unloads. And it's incomplete intended for Armstead. And Angeline may not get up from that one. Mark Lockwood came in from the blind side and really gave Angeline some kind of crack. And he comes up. He lay there for a while. And he may come out of the lineup as Bucky Davis is coming in to replace him. Bucky Davis, a junior, will come in to play to replace senior Rick Angeline as Dr. Jack Morgan quickly came on the field and walked off to the far side with Rick Angeline. He had his bell rung real good. It's 3rd and 5 with 5:08 remaining in the ball game. 33-0 East. Bucky Davis keeping. Bucky runs into the right side and gains about 1 yard. That is it. Harry Compton and Randy Bunner, who've been teaming up all afternoon, make the stop for the 5 East defensive unit. Stop on quarterback Bucky Davis. First down and 4 for the West Virginia. 33-0 to score. Well, Pete, next year when you get ready for the East West game, you want to put some coin on the possible winner, you just bet on the team that's got the better record. With your luck, you'll lose. 2.5 minutes remaining in the game, and East with the better record now leading 33-0. They came in 6-3. The West Bulldogs 3-6. Bucky Davis in at quarterback, hands off to Delegati. Delegati is dropped shy of the 45-yard line, and dropping him was Gary Compton. And the clock is stopped at 4:18. And it will be 4th and less than a yard to go for the first for the Bull Bears, who may call for measurement. Well, after today, we still have 2 more games for our broadcast of football matches coming today. Next Friday night, it'll be Pine Grove Breezeville from Pine Grove, and next Saturday night from East West Stadium with Finale, the Fighting Falcons, as they take on the Hilltoppers of West Liberty. Well, the Bull Bears did not pick up the first down. They give up the ball to the Fairmont East Bees. And the score is 33-0. The Bees have led into the second quarter. After we battled through a scoreless first quarter, have come on and now lead 33-0. And Coach Joe Ross wanted this one in the worst way this afternoon. I tell you what, if you had a football team, players that have the desire of Coach Joe Ross, you go undefeated every year. 33-0, and Joe Ross's Bees are leading right now over the Bull Bears and Bob B and company. Set to go, new quarterback is in there. And now in the East lineup at quarterback will be Othniel. Ron Pizzicella and Wise makes the stop. Othniel is in there now at quarterback for the Bees with 3 minutes and 40 seconds. No Joe Manning. Nanai, a sophomore, in his quarterback. Joe Nanai. Program still Othniel wearing number 10, but we have it down to 32. So with 3.5 minutes, it doesn't really mean anything right now. 33-0 East is leading. And Joe Ross has substituted just about everybody on the front line. Coming in now will be Jerry Hall, a sophomore. Billy Rex, a junior, making the stop for the Bull Bears. Coming out of the lineup, Brad Swanger is in there for the East Bees. Also in there on the front line, Mark Murphy, a junior, playing at one of the end positions, replacing Steve Apa. Joe Nanai in at quarterback. In the backfield, Jerry Hall, one of the running backs. The handoff this time, I believe, to Andy Jerry Boyle, a senior. And now the defensive unit comes in for the Bees with 2 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the 55th meeting here at East West Stadium. The East and West situation. Well, the Bees have something to celebrate today because they have won this one. That was the first year for Joe Ross, and now he has a 33-0 shutout, and the Bull Bears haven't been shut out all Pine Stadium. 2:18 remaining in the fourth and final quarter. Now from the fans, trying to avoid a try to get a jump. Half the three rivers all the time. He avoids the rush. By the time he gets ready to come home, there's nobody on the street. Here comes Mr. Robinson. Robinson in the second area, a quick burst of speed. He's a senior. Did not play last year. Louis Robinson, a senior running back for the Blue Bears, and the clock is down to 2 minutes. 2 minutes remaining in this one, and when it is all over, I'm not going to say a word. You can just listen to these fans out in front of us, because I think they'll start counting down. 33-0. Was that remarkable? I haven't said a word about why after I graduated from, and I won't. 33-0. Bucky Davis rolling right. Looking. Unload. Looking for Hannah. It's over his head. Steve Hannah. Oh, Greg Gross. Excuse me. Greg Gross. I don't know what Paul and Star are conversing about back here. Something. You want to get on an open mic and say that? You'd rather not. There's one right to your right if you'd like to make a comment. Don't say nothing about Fairmont. You got to go home tonight, Mr. Pell. He just said that it's amazing to him that you graduated at all. Well, I did in 1960, the same time as Mrs. Pell graduated. Playing like them bananas. Minute and a half remaining in the ball game with East Park Top leading 33-0. John Delegati. You can see who I was playing this afternoon. Dan Devine and the boys. 33-0, the clock stop at a minute 14, and the East Bees are going to take home the 1975 City Championship in the East West game, and they did it soundly. 33-0 with a 5 defensive unit and a 5 offensive unit of Ken Bishop, their senior, who's 6'1", and some fine running by Tommy Lowe. Here's the Blue Bears, and passing down the middle with Bucky Davis looking for Keith Davis, and it's incomplete. Clock shows 54 seconds remaining. Well, looking at the West roster, they're going to finish up 3-7. Next year, we're losing the midfield squad. Keith Davis, Cleve Jackson, Jim Tucker, Ron the Blue Pizzasella, a fine athlete. Doug Beaufort will be back next year at right guard. Dave Whiteman graduating, Tim Rice graduating. Papa Horton will be gone this year. Rick Angeline, the quarterback, will be gone. In the backfield, Albert York, Willie Robinson, and Tony Armstead from defense will be gone for these Polar Bears, who have had a long season. And they're 48 seconds away from winding up 3-7. But for the Bees, a very good year. And they had a winning season coming into the game today with a 6-3. They're going to finish up 7-3 for Coach Joe Long. And their finest record in a long time at Fairmont East. I think the finest one since Joe took over in 71. And they win it here this afternoon with only 27 seconds remaining. Some of their seniors this afternoon, Gary Yost, Mike Hawkins, Randy Bunner, Jeff Mosher at center, Billy Martin, who was injured in the first quarter, Jeff Zickerberg, a senior, Mark Rockwood, Roger Wilson, Kenny Bissett, their quarterback, Mike Zucchetti, Dave Shelton, Gary Boyle, Mike Nickemeyer, Mark Servo will be back next year. And you can listen now to these fans in the final 3 seconds. The story from East West Stadium this afternoon. The Polar Bears are shut out for the first time this year in their final ball game. It's shut out by Mighty Fine Ball Club, the Fairmont East Bees. The game this afternoon was brought to you in combined sponsorship by the full-service City National Bank at 120 Fairmont Avenue in Fairmont, by Hills Department Stores and the Fair Hills Plaza Pleasure Boulevard, open 10 to 10 daily, other Hill stores in Clarksburg and in Morgantown. That final score once again, 8:33 West Southern. We'll be back in 1 minute with today's wrap-up. We're home, Ford. You need the right equipment, and we're home. All right.
I'm not.
Say something. What, ready?
Okay.
What are you going to say, Leslie? Say
Okay.
Yes, the deep truck.